What's up guys, Mickle here, and in this video I want to talk about some very surprising news involving Elon Musk and cryptocurrencies. It looks like Twitter is actually going to be stepping up its game when it comes to crypto. I want to show you how this could relate back to Ripple and XRP, because when I first saw the news that Twitter was actually working with eToro for their cryptocurrency integration, I was kind of shocked, but I was even more shocked when I saw how closely eToro was actually working with Ripple. Guys, this is something that's really going to surprise you and something that's not getting a lot of coverage right now. I also want to talk about towards the end of the video some extremely bullish news that the markets just got. This is something I actually predicted a couple videos ago. I want to go over exactly what's playing out because we could be entering a Goldilocks scenario for cryptocurrencies and growth stocks. Make sure to stick around to the end of the video to see that. You are not going to want to miss it. Like always guys, make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel. It's going to help me out so much and help me make more videos like this into the future. Also, if you ever need a good place to buy some XRP or the Flare token, make sure to check out my favorite exchange, Uphold, down in the description of this video. With that said though, let's jump right into it, and I hope you guys enjoy the content.
And what about the fact that the BBC was put under pressure by the British government to change its editorial policy? Are you aware of that?
This is not an interview about the BBC.
Oh, so... you thought it wasn't?
I see now why you've done Twitter Spaces. I am not a representative of the BBC's editorial policy. I want to make that clear. Let's talk about something else. You want to talk about the BBC? You too. All right, let's talk about something else.
You weren't expecting that.
Let's talk about something else.
So I wanted to start out with that clip. I thought it was absolutely hilarious. You rarely see Elon Musk in this kind of form. For those of you who don't know, before I actually got into XRP and cryptocurrencies in general, I was actually pretty involved in the Tesla community. I was very early on in Tesla stock, and back then Elon Musk was a lot more conservative. He wasn't so outspoken, but I really love to see him like this. It's so cool to see him just rip into one of these reporters, especially when this reporter did this interview to try to make Elon look bad. It's so funny to see how Elon can just flip the script on someone like this. Overall, it was a great interview. If you haven't seen it, make sure to check it out. But anyway, I thought it was pretty funny, and I just wanted to show you that part because I thought it was so hilarious how Elon kind of did this interview to put the BBC on blast. Meanwhile, the reporter from the BBC thought he was going to be making Elon Musk look bad. Pretty funny. Let's move on to the video though, and I want to start off and talk about something that absolutely shocked me and I was not expecting to see at all. It looks like Twitter is actually going to be integrating eToro to let users trade stocks in crypto. Now, there was a couple reasons I was pretty shocked when I saw this. First of all, Elon Musk always amazes me. It always seems like, oh, not that much is going on with Twitter. It doesn't seem like anything big is happening. And then out of nowhere, he is 10 steps ahead and drops something like this. Now, this is something that it wasn't even in my head for something Twitter could possibly do in the future. I never saw something like this happening. I mean, personally, I think it's kind of genius. I think it's going to be awesome, and I think he's going to do really cool stuff with it, but I never saw this happening in a million years. Now, the other reason I was pretty shocked by this, other than the fact that I never thought Twitter would do something like this, was the fact that they're actually working with eToro. Now, this is kind of interesting to me because I kind of thought if this was to happen, it would be with someone like Coinbase or Robinhood, but it's pretty interesting that they're working with eToro. Now, when I started looking into eToro, I actually found some pretty interesting things. First of all, eToro is one of the only cryptocurrency companies out there with a broker-dealer license. This means that they can actually trade securities as well as cryptocurrencies. Now, this is extremely interesting because it kind of checkmates the SEC. The SEC was going out of their way to try to call cryptocurrency securities, that way they couldn't trade anywhere in the US. The SEC has tried to prevent cryptocurrency companies from getting a broker-dealer, meanwhile calling the cryptocurrencies themselves securities because traditional stock exchanges can't trade crypto, and if crypto is a security and these cryptocurrency exchanges don't have broker-dealer license, well, they can't trade crypto either. This essentially destroys liquidity in the US and creates a massive issue that could kind of kill crypto in the US. But it looks like somehow eToro snuck through a back door and actually got a broker-dealer license. This means that even if all crypto was called a security, eToro could still trade it, and it kind of checkmates the SEC. Now, what's pretty interesting is Metal Law Man actually called this out too, and he said not a lot of people are understanding how big of a poke in the eye this is to Gary Gensler and Senator Warren, because it's essentially a backdoor to make sure crypto can keep trading in the US no matter what the SEC throws at it. I thought this was pretty interesting, and it looks like Elon Musk is seeing the same thing. It looks like he went with eToro because eToro kind of has this unique registration where they can trade crypto no matter what, and this kind of puts Twitter in a safe zone where it's hard for regulators to go after them. Now, as interesting as this is, I think what's really going to shock you is eToro's connections with Ripple. Now, eToro is not a company I really ever paid attention to, but the more I started looking into them, the more kind of shocked I have become with how many different licenses they have and with how many regulators are already working with. They actually have a BIT license with the New York State, which is one of the hardest cryptocurrency licenses to get. And I actually want to show you a pretty interesting interview of the CEO of eToro actually talking about how great he thinks Ripple is. Now, for him to be talking like he is in this interview, and you're going to realize what I'm saying in just a minute when I show you this, I think you're going to understand that eToro could end up being a very significant Ripple partner. These exchanges need a way to source liquidity, and they need a way to send cryptocurrency all over the world and move funds. All these exchanges could easily be Ripple partners one day, and what you're going to hear right here is the CEO of eToro actually seems extremely bullish on Ripple and XRP, and before I play this video, I just want to let you know, he actually put out a tweet back in 2019 saying that XRP could one day surpass Bitcoin. So this guy almost seems like an XRP maxi, and his company just signed a very big deal with Twitter. Listen up to this interview.
I think Ripple as a company is doing something great. They're trying to replace basically Swift.
Yep.
Does it make sense to replace Swift? Yes, it takes 2 to 3 days to transfer money overseas. That doesn't make a lot of sense. So is there an opportunity to replace Swift and create better, faster settlement system for fiat money? Definitely. Have they been able to build great relationships with a lot of banks? They have. Take the hat off. They definitely have been able to do that. The XRP system and Rapid and the entire sort of blockchain works. And now they need, they basically need to connect these two parts together. And I think that's exactly what they're doing. So they said, Ripple as a company has unlimited resources because they have those $100 billion XRPs, right? Yeah. So Ripple as a company has, let's say, unlimited resources to build basically a settlement and clearing service to the banking system. And they're doing a good job in embedding that in a lot of different banks. Now, that's currently a bit disconnected from what XRP is as a token. But I think what they're doing right now is they're saying, okay, we're going in these in parallel. This is the decentralized XRP. This is Ripple as a company. And then they're trying to sort of eventually converge this. So in the long term, can this work and appreciate XRP in value as well? Yes, it can. Does it have anything to do with Bitcoin? Not really. It's really a very different value proposition, and the connectivity between sort of these two parallel tracks is the potential value of XRP as a cryptocurrency, one of the most popular cryptocurrencies on eToro, very, very passionate community, which is a very important thing for any cryptocurrency, by the way.
So I thought that interview was really interesting, and not only because this guy is obviously very bullish on Ripple and XRP, and I have a feeling his company is going to be using Ripple and XRP once there's clarity in the market, but I also think it's really cool to see how much Ripple has grown and how much XRP is being used in their ecosystem. At the time of this interview, I think it was like 2018, Ripple was using XRP, but it really wasn't integrated directly into their products. Now most of Ripple's volume involves XRP. Over 75% of the flows through RippleNet go through XRP, and XRP is becoming pristine liquidity for Ripple the company. It shows how fast things can change, how quickly narratives can shift, and also at the time of this interview, there really weren't any other projects building on the XRP ledger. Now we're seeing an explosion of projects building on the XRPL, and just understand, all of these massive developments, these fundamental changes have not been priced into XRP yet. XRP is still trading below its 2018 all-time high, and let me tell you, as soon as this market has clarity, and as soon as the market figures out how massive the potential is with XRP, not only to transform our financial system with Ripple, but also as the most compliant platform to build on for new projects to start out, we are going to see an absolutely fundamental massive shift in how XRP is looked at by the market, and I think that's going to cause an explosion in its price. And I just want to finish this video off and quickly talk about something that I talked about a little bit over the last couple weeks. I said it was going to be critical to the markets, and that is that inflation is absolutely plummeting. Earlier today, we got the producer price index, which is a great leading sign of where inflation is headed, and as we can see, it actually came in at 2.7. The forecast was 3, but the previous number for PPI was 4.9. That means we see inflation plummeting in the producer price index, which is an amazing sign for where we're headed. If we actually enter a period of deflation, which now we're getting extremely close to deflation, especially at the rate we're falling, the Federal Reserve is going to be forced to cut rates. They cannot hold rates as high as they are if we're in deflation. Funny enough, we hear so many bad things about inflation, deflation is actually worse, and we are getting dangerously close to it. If we have deflation, the Fed will have to cut rates, and money is going to flood back into cryptocurrencies and the stock market. This is what I have been saying since we've been at 10%. I said it's going to start going down, and we're going to see a plummet soon. Since then, we have continued to fall, and it actually does look like the inflation we saw over the last 2 years was in fact transitory. If we can hold this trend, let me tell you, there will be a massive shift in the narrative, and all those people who were running from the market, terrified that inflation was never going to go away and the Federal Reserve was going to have to take interest rates to 20%, all those people are going to be flooding back into the market because that never played out, and it turns out the Federal Reserve only had to take rates high for a couple months to have inflation rip back down to normal, and we might be entering a period where the Federal Reserve actually has to cut rates a lot sooner than many people expected. With that said though, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you haven't already, make sure to like and subscribe. It really does help me out so much, and for now, Mickle out.